enthusiast bastards. How you guys doing today? It's been a while since the last time I posted, and I greatly appreciate you guys still sticking with me. And with all the I have over 1,000 subscribers now, which is quite amazing. Even though I haven't been posting videos, you guys have still been subscribing to me, which means so much to me. I've been a very busy guy, and I just I figured why not. I've been doing some stuff to the Dart. And I know I got rid of the Veloster. Most of you guys that subscribed to me was because of the Veloster. But I now have the Mazda 6 and the CX-9 as our two daily drivers. And so I really haven't been able to post very much. I have been working on the Dart quite a bit. And I figured I'd give you guys some updates and show you guys what I've been doing lately and what stuff I've actually bought for the car. And let's get this started. If you guys had also noticed, I tore off the whole front part of the car. The reason why is because with the bumper and everything added to the car, it actually stuck like way out here with the bumper. So I was actually losing a lot of room in this garage. I mean, this garage is not the biggest in the world, so I wanted to gain more space for the time being. And so I just went ahead and tore off the whole front part of the car, took the radiator out, took all the bumper out, the grill out, everything that I could to actually just gain some space for the car, especially when I decided what motor and transmission I want to put in the car, and I actually have some space to do stuff with it. It's a lot easier to walk in through here now. Before, I was literally scooting across, scraping my jeans, actually cutting my jeans up because it was such a tight fit. Now, if you guys remember last time you guys saw this car was actually running, and not really driving, but it was running. We ended up finding out that the piston rings were pretty much fried, and it was allowing a buttload of blow-by and a lot of oil that ended up getting coated back up with the spark plugs. I changed the spark plugs several times, and it kept just putting more and more oil on them. So I figured it was time just to go ahead and get rid of it and get it out of the car, and go ahead and just go and clean up the engine compartment. Now, as you guys can see here, it's got a pretty much cleaned engine compartment now. I totally degreased everything, wire brushed everything, and I ended up putting a Rhino liner inside the engine compartment here, which I really like. It makes it a little bit more rougher, like I want it. I ended up buying another K-member and ended up cleaning it fully and repainting it. I've actually put like 6 coats of silver and like 3 coats of clear on it. So it's gonna hold up really well to any kind of paint issues. I know this stupid hydraulic line here for the power steering is putting power steering fluid on it, which is not very good for the paint. But moving on here. As you see that I got all the wiring put up here. You gotta remember this is 40-something-year-old wiring, and I will have to replace it because if you guys actually, well, if I don't knock everything off my table here, you actually notice here all the wiring is really stiff, unfortunately. So that can be a very big fire hazard for the car. So I will have to replace all the wiring in the car, which I really don't know what I want to put in the car as a motor. As you see here, I do have the Slant 6 over here that was originally in the car, and it's on an engine stand. get some light in here. As you can see, in each one of these piston bores, they really didn't have a lot of carbon buildup. Now in here they kind of did a little bit where the lifters are, but I mean it makes me wonder if the car was already rebuilt at one point in time for the motor. But it is not what I'm really looking for putting the car, putting Slant 6 back in the car, unless I go full on supercharge or turbocharge it. I do have somebody lined up to buy the motor and the transmission that came with the car, and then I'll go a different route after he buys it. But if he does not end up buying it, I'll probably end up keeping the slant and probably going full forged pistons and rods, and probably putting a dual exhaust manifold setup and go twin turbo with it, which would be really neat. I've only seen a select few Slant 6s with twin turbos that have been installed to them. It's a very simple motor, one of the easiest to work on, and they're extremely reliable. And in base form, they're not very potent. It's only about 90 horsepower that these motors put out, but they put out a pretty good amount of torque. They actually respond like a diesel motor. They put about twice the amount of torque out than horsepower when you actually put a lot of power into them. So, like a supercharger, if I put a supercharger on this car with forged internals and whatnot, it'll put out about 300 horsepower and almost like 500 foot-pounds of torque. It's quite amazing how these motors respond to boost. If you guys are wondering why the car is only sitting 2 inches above the ground, when I re-put this new K-member in, what happened was I ended up installing the torsion bars in wrong. So what I have to do is I have to lift it back up and take the torsion bar back out, take it off the lower ball joint, and reinstall it again. I know exactly what I did wrong as soon as I installed both of them. I missed one step on what I was supposed to do. I ended up putting the torsion beam in after I bolted everything up, which was a mistake. I need to actually put the torsion bar in first before I bolt everything up, and that lines it up perfectly. I do not want this car sitting this low at all, but yeah, I'll definitely get that fixed if you guys did catch that. Other than that, yeah. Here is the old K-member that came with the car. As you see, look how dirty this thing is and oiled up it is. And it looked like somebody Dukes of Hazzard the car up, because the whole K-member is actually bent really bad right up here, which messed with my alignment. They also tore the sleeves that go inside the holes here for the K-member where the lower control arm goes into. So when I first got the car, I re-welded this all up with the little MIG welder I got from Harbor Freight until I found another K-member. But as you see, this thing was nasty. I'm probably just going to throw it away in a scrapyard somewhere. There's really no point of even keeping it, considering I have the pretty much brand spanking new one that I got sitting here. It's not new, it's still a 1974 Duster K-member, but it's it's in really good shape. And not one dent on it. There's a couple scratches on the bottom side of the K-member, but other than that, this car is going to track way straighter than what that one would have done, the old one. But other than that, yeah, that K-member, that old one, is going bye-bye. Now here's the transmission that came with the Slant 6. It is a 904 3-speed automatic and the 904. This is the factory transmission that came with the car. I doubt this transmission's ever been rebuilt. It does slip pretty bad, even putting new fluid in it. I'm pretty sure the torque converter is pretty much shot too. If you look in here, you can hear the fluid's still in the torque converter at this point. I haven't actually taken it out. But like I said, the guy that I have lined up for it is going to be taking the transmission also with the torque converter. He's going to take it with the motor if he does end up going through with it. One of the worst bodywork I've ever seen on a car. When I first got this car, it actually looked nice and straight. But after messing with it, you can actually see it's got about a 1/2 inch of Bondo that was built up on here on this quarter panel. It is atrocious as a bodywork, and I think the bodywork with the Bondo comes all the way, pretty much all the way in this whole quarter panel here, unfortunately. So this car will need new quarters on it eventually, but I'm not going to be focused on it at this point in time. I notice I'm missing a lug nut here, if you guys ever see that. But the car's just still sitting here with no motor and transmission, so I figured 4 will be fine for now. I'm going to get some new lug nuts anyways eventually, because I'll be upgrading the rear end before this car even gets put on the road. But it will need new quarter panels for bodywork wise, and then it just needs some simple dents repaired here and there on the car. Not too big on bodywork other than the rear quarters. But I mean, that's an afterthought at this point in time until I get the full drivetrain and rear end put in the car, which I'm still debating on what I want to do. I know I just talked about the Slant 6. If it does not get bought, I will probably go with it. But what do you guys feel like I should put in this Dart? Should I do a Mopar motor, like stick with Mopar? I've actually seen some people LS swap these cars. I'm not really a Mopar fanatic, like down ground. I love Mopars, but I'm not one of those guys that is a butthurt Mopar guy. Like if I see a Chevy motor in a Mopar, am I going to get mad? No. It's their car. They can do what they want with it. So, what do you guys want me to do? If you guys wanted to start making comments on should I Chevy swap it, stick with Mopar, stick with the Slant 6, and turbocharge it or supercharge it or whatnot, whatever you guys think I should do, go down below and comment on that. It'd be very interesting to see what other people have, ideas for this car. And going on the interior, what I've actually done with the car so far. As you see, if you remember, the car was originally all tan inside, and I've actually reupholstered, painted the interior of this car. It's all black now. I probably won't ever put a headliner back in the car, but considering what the purposes I'm going to use for this car for. But these seats right here are actually from a Kia. I think it was a Kia Rio, I think, like a 2008. Really good shape. I actually have some new seat covers for these that I'm going to put in the car. But like I said, it's been pretty damn cold out. It's only like 20 degrees out right now, and I'm actually surprised I'm actually out here doing this. But I just figured I'd give you guys a good update. So yeah, I have some new seat covers for this. I actually have a new steering wheel for the Dart. I'll actually show you that in a second. Get in here. And I've also rhino lined the dash here too. It was really rusted up, a lot of surface rust when I first got the car. And like I said, this car is not going to be no show car, so I just figured, why not? I'll just go ahead and just kind of paint it here and there, make it look halfway decent. As you see here, I've actually got some steel here. This is actually stainless steel flat sheet that I got from Home Depot. And what I ended up doing here, I went to work and I cut this out here and did some trim around the edges. And I'm actually going to put it right in here. And I'm actually going to put gauges all the way across. I'm going to drill some holes all the way down it and put like 4 or 5 gauges down this dash right here. Pretty neat idea. I've seen some other people do this, and I figured, why not? I could do it too. So yeah, I'm going to do that eventually. I'm going to get some new carpet eventually for the car, but I'm not going to do it just yet. If I have to tear up the trans tunnel and put a new trans tunnel in, depending on what motor and transmission I go with, we'll have to deal with that eventually. The steering wheel, there's some of the gauges that I got that I'm going to start with, but the steering wheel itself is a Grant style. And I also got, wherever the cap is, let me see. I did decide to go with the old Bosch style gauges. They were actually a pretty good deal. You know, they came with the bracket, but like I said, I'm gonna actually drill out holes in the dash, and I'm actually gonna put those in that bracket. It should be a 2-inch drill bit that I will need to actually push these in there without even using a bracket. So I will actually have to do a video of that sometimes and actually show you guys when I do that. As you see, I got the Grant style steering wheel. You can see how much smaller it is. I think it's a 13-inch steering wheel compared to the 15-inch that is originally on the car. It did come with an actual kit to go on this car itself, and I also got the Mopar logo to go inside for the horn button. So this is a very nice steering wheel. The grip is amazing on it. It's got a nice plastic composite for the actual steering wheel itself for your hands. It's not a leather style. I didn't want a leather style. I figured that either I wanted to go wood or steel steel composite or steel or plastic composite. As you see here, you can actually see the plastic right there for this. But I can't wait to install this, and probably next week or two I'll probably install this for you guys and actually do a video on it when I actually install the steering wheel for it. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've got so far in the interior. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Oh yeah, probably the rear end for the car. I probably will end up going with a Strange 60 rear end or a Ford 9-inch, probably from Strange. Strange does do both. It's going to cost me around $3,000 or $4,000 for that rear end, or each one of them, because I want it with Willwood brakes on the back side. I am going to put disc brakes on the front side also, looking more towards a 4-piston caliper front and back. So this car will stop on a dime. That's what I want this car to be able to handle on the street just like a modern car. So to start with that would be brakes. I will need to probably get a power booster for the car too. So I have Pirate Jack, I think is one of the companies. It's not Willwood, but they do come with the power booster with their disc brake kit for the front side, which is only about $500 to $700 to get the whole brake kit for the front with the power booster. And after that, I mean, then it's just engine and transmission, and I don't really know what I want to do with it yet. And like I said, if you guys have any ideas on what I should do for this car, what I want to do, maybe get an idea, I just want this car to be a nice strip street car. I don't need it to be a track monster, 1,000, 2,000 horsepower track monster. I just want it to be a nice, fun car for me to drive. Maybe 300 to 600 horsepower is plenty for me. I don't need to go any faster than that. 400 horsepower, and these light A-body cars still run low 11s. So you just go from 400 to 600, then you can decide, well, you can go a 9-second car and 600 horsepower car and these things. So I don't need anything more than 600 horsepower. And it's just something to cruise around Conway with and you know, go back and forth to work or something like that. But anyways, guys, I greatly appreciate you guys actually watching this video. I know it's been a long time since I actually posted a video, and I'm greatly appreciative that you guys have stayed with me all this time. I cannot believe I've actually hit 1,000 subscribers. It's unreal. It really means a lot to me that you guys stuck with me. I know that I have not been a very good YouTuber and kept up on the videos, but I'm going to try to get back into it again now that I've finally settled down in my new house and everything's kind of cooled down. So in the next couple of weeks, look forward to more videos of me starting to do stuff on the Dart. I know it's not the Veloster. I know I did a lot of videos on the Veloster, but I'm going to go a different path now. I'm going to go straight old school and go with the Dart. If you guys have any ideas on not just ideas, any advice on my car, don't be afraid to comment on the comment section or get a hold of me on Facebook. I have my Facebook account. You know, the Dusty Man channel is on Facebook. You guys can send me stuff there. Other than that, I thank you guys very much, and I will see you guys next time.